Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Tuesday. It's noon. We're on the Cardinal Cast. What's up, Jerry?
Back on the cast. Sun's shining out, but it's still pretty chilly.
It's chilly.
Yeah.
My kids both went into school without coats on today because kids do not care, apparently.
No.
No.
You know, maybe we talked about this once before. So I think this generation thinks that a sweatshirt is a coat.
It's a coat.
Is a winter coat. Mm-hmm. That's the most we see worn into the high school by the high
Absolutely.
school students.
They're tough. They're
yeah.
way tougher than we are. I'm just
Shorts.
resigned. Yeah.
Of course, their jeans all have holes in them anyway, so
Well, because
it isn't like
it's-
they're wearing those for warmth either.
So much cooler
Yeah.
when you have holes in your jeans.
Lots of T-shirts walking in though. So
Yeah, my kids included.
Yep.
Um,
Maybe they're just tough. Western Nebraska, we're just tough. They're
we're
tough.
way tougher. We're way tougher.
I'm
We're
good with that.
we're proven tougher. I'm not tougher, but our kids must be. My children are. I got variety show topics again today.
Perfect.
We're variety.
I like last week's with variety.
Mm-hmm.
Just miscellaneous topics here and there. Nothing too serious to deal with. So
Tell you what, we got parent-teacher conferences coming up. Who? Everybody's favorite.
in what, 2 nights?
Yeah,
today?
Thursday.
Tuesday. So this Thursday. The high school, by the way, we go 5 to 8:30. We're evening people, and that's just mostly done in our commons area. So
Yep. So come join us for parent-teacher conferences. You may have gotten a postcard. I'm going to say this right away just to advertise for it from our local community college, Western Nebraska Community College. They're going to come give a presentation at 5:30 in the high school auditorium.
Okay.
That is not put on by us. So it's not, I won't be speaking at it. I'll probably bop in a little bit. You'll probably bop in, say hi to Julia and Mackenzie and a few of the people that come down for that. Topics include admissions for Western Nebraska Community College.
Okay.
But what they really like to talk about in February at this conference is how to take high school or college classes while you're in high school.
okay.
So they call those
Well, and
college now.
You said Julia was coming, so she's the one we work with
Mm-hmm.
some dual credit. We do have some dual credit offerings through WNCC now.
We do. Technical math, basic nursing, medical terminology.
Yeah, so I really do appreciate when they come in and, you know, they're going to talk straight to parents and students, and so it's no middleman, you know, not that you don't know what's going on, but it just helps when a college, when a rep from the school is here. So it's a good opportunity to ask questions that truthfully we probably might not have the answer to.
So this is kind of funny because I was thinking about it this morning and I told you this morning, I said, this will be the first February parent-teacher conferences where I don't do a topic or a conversation in the auditorium. Usually what I do this time of year is I talk about how to earn college credits while you're in high school. But I've posted a million videos on it. And we're going to actually link in the show notes to this show the video where I in-depth talk about your students' options for earning college credits while in high school. So we're going to let WNCC have the stage and just let them do their thing. And I'll be available for more in-depth questions, so I won't be in the auditorium the whole time.
So we're not spending an hour and a half talking about it now?
We're not spending an hour and a half talking about it now. We've got a video.
Yeah.
We'll post it in the notes because parents are probably thinking about it because I've started scheduling. Kind of.
It looks like you've got most of one class already
I do.
scheduled.
So we're at the point right now where I have pulled almost all the juniors in. And we get, I call it the initial request phase.
Right.
So basically, they look at their options. We talk all about college credits. We talk about everything. And they give a general idea of a wish list. You know, these are kind of the classes are on my wish list. We build the master schedule, then Mr. Mack and I, and hopefully maybe a team of teachers this year. And then we bring the master schedule back and I pull kids in one-on-one individually. And that's when we say, all right, what of our wish list can we make work in the actual schedule? That is the time where I will invite parents to come with. This time, I'm just sparking conversation. So what I'm doing is I'm sending home their degree audit, and I call it a degree audit. I think it's called an academic plan in our high school, and it shows what they need to graduate, what they have, what they need. I'm sending that home with the student's wish list for courses and a parent signature form. So the
Perfect.
sneaky way I tell them they get their one-on-one scheduling meetings is if their parents sign, and then they bring them back first. So I put those in a binder in order, and then I pull kids in one-on-one. Parents, come on, you're all welcome for those meetings. And that's when we actually build the schedule.
Okay. You didn't say the word audit. A course audit, isn't that what it was called in college?
Yeah,
When
that's
we would
what the college calls it.
Yeah, you do those course audits to see where you are from where you are now until make a plan of your classes until you graduate, making sure you graduate on time. So good. So
what
this
we're
is
doing.
kind of the wish list then for scheduling, and then
Yep.
from there it gets thrown into a computer for some master scheduling, and then we see
Yep.
what makes.
Yep, we see what makes. And the reason I'm just holding back parents yet for one-on-one meetings is because we don't know what we'll make yet.
Right.
So we're really spinning our wheels until we see what our master schedule looks like. And we can't build that until the kids tell us kind of their ideas.
Do you have a timeline on when that master schedule might
Oh,
first come out?
I'm going to a schedule building workshop March 2nd. So I'm kind of hoping that second week in March, I'll be able to start pulling kids in for one-on-ones.
So probably by mid-March then
Mid-March.
we'll be
Yep.
able to start playing around.
We will. So all the scheduling things, it's really fun. I have to give a shout out to our junior class. I mean, all of our classes are amazing, but I told Jerry this morning, I have never had more fun with a group in a scheduling process. Like I don't have to harp on them. I don't have to be school mom. I just show them all their options, and you should see the good choices that they're making, like dual credit classes, even if they don't want dual credit classes, like just good courses. And then not only do I love that they're picking options that make them college ready if they want to, but they're picking fun classes and classes that give them skills. Like the amount of kids that want to take construction class is so cool.
Oh, it's a good choice.
It's a
too.
good choice. They're going to know how to drywall finish a bathroom in their future. So anyway, I've never had more fun. They're just killing it. They're so fun.
Well, that's good to hear. Anything now? So we invite parents to come in for part of the scheduling process. So what I'm
they'd
hearing
like to.
is they don't need to do it this right now.
Not right now.
Because
Wait.
you're just doing this wish list, right?
We're not ready yet.
Okay. So if a parent is interested in joining their student for scheduling, that would be
In March when I have the
mid-March
schedule. But yeah,
or later.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'll send an invite out. And you know what parents could do, and I didn't think about it till now. They have to sign this sheet of paper. If they want to write, I would like to be present for the one-on-one meeting.
yeah.
They can.
Yeah.
Usually the kiddo knows that the parent wants to come, and so when we schedule it, they just make
Yeah.
sure it works around their parent's schedule.
So if you're hearing, parents, if you're hearing about scheduling, that it's kind of putting together the wish list right now. So we'll be ready. If you do want to come in and sit down with Mrs. Watson as they do the scheduling, by all means, you're more than welcome to. So
Happy to.
We should have a list of classes by mid-March, and then we can start playing around. So we can, our goal is to have the schedule in place this spring before the students leave at the end of the school year, and then it doesn't change through the summer and
Please
the
don't
start of the
change
fall.
it through the summer.
Yeah.
You know what happens, and this is what I told the kids, and I want parents to be aware of this too. So here's what happens. We take a ton of time and consideration. You and I sitting down and say you're my student, and we go through what you need, and we take time to say like what you want to do in the future and if this pairs well. And then summer comes, and then students see what other kids' class and what they're taking, their friends, and they come in and they start messing with it. And not only does it affect our numbers and it messes with our teachers, it affects their graduation progress.
Absolutely.
We've had in the past where students come and make changes, and then they forget that they need a social studies to graduate. And then all of a sudden we're in this big bind in January. I'm usually really good about catching it, but I'm just putting out a plea. I've got 280 students this year. Once we build that schedule, we got to leave it alone because we built it for a reason. And we were really thoughtful in building it. When we start making swaps because of where our friends are at or those kind of swaps is when we get into trouble.
So a classic example is a student has scheduled say it's a social studies class, and they need that one more credit or that half credit to graduate, and they're a junior or a senior, it doesn't matter. And then they want to change, like I don't want that class during, that block 2 class. Well, by then we've already put the wish list in the computer and generated a master schedule. So in other words, if you pull out of a block 2 class of social studies, it isn't like you get your choice of all of the classes to take in place. Your choices are the block 2
Exactly.
courses that are available in the building for your grade that you haven't taken
that are not full.
that are not full. And so that's where students all of a sudden, so then they're forced to take some other class that they didn't, it's just a limited choice, what fits that they're eligible for during that block. And that's how they get behind. Now, all of a sudden, they're a senior, and they're having to take that social studies credit that they pulled out of, and now they need to make it up, plus take the government that's required as a senior year. So it's easy. That's where we want to try to get it done right once and then fit needs. And there's always things that happen where we have to make some schedule changes, like students who transfer into the district and different things. Those things happen. But the course offerings will be set by hopefully mid-March.
Heck yeah. They'll be set. We'll be rocking. When your student comes in for their one-on-one, they will leave with their schedule. So that's a nice feeling to have that in your hand going out of the school year. So I'm excited about that. I want to talk parent-teacher conferences.
I was going to go there. I just wanted to make sure you're done with scheduling.
I feel like I should be a lot more politically correct on this, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Are they valuable? With email, with everything in this, because I went away personally from having nighttime meetings because then I became a mom. I wasn't a mom before, so I was having all these meetings at like 6:30 and why aren't parents coming? And then I'm a mom. I'm like, I get it now. So I'm just interested what parents think out there too and what you think about the value. I mean, obviously we'd love to hear how our kids are doing in class, and the teachers don't want to be bored on Thursday. Come visit us. We're bored if you're not here. But I'm just interested with email. Do you think we'll move away from this, or do you think it'll always be?
But that's what's changed so much is with the communication, Infinite Campus, and the teachers' emails are there, and parents who email and ask the teachers questions. What's the deal here? What's why this grade? And they communicate with the teacher. That didn't used to happen. 15, 10 years ago. And so there's so much more communication now that does take place. The remind messages that get sent home. Is a way of communicating, at least one way from teacher to parent. So what we notice at the high school level is my guess is they're not as valuable as they used to be. And that's why we just do it for one evening each semester. When I started at Chadron High School, and this was when I was teaching, we did 4 of them a year.
4 a year?
You do one every quarter.
Holy cow. Yeah. That's a lot.
And so we kind of thinned it down some. And I'll be honest with you, like elementary, they'll get 100% participation rates because they'll sign up for, here's your time slot when they meet. I think is how they do it. I'm not real sure. By the time you get to middle school and high school, it's voluntary. And we probably run a roughly, give or take, 50%.
Yeah.
We get about 50% of our students represented at parent-teacher conferences. Now, is there value to it? There is for some. I think some parents like to come in and actually visit and ask those informal questions about, and truthfully, and a lot of it isn't about grades. What we hear parents asking is parents want to know about behaviors.
Yeah.
How is my kid behaving in your classroom? Those kind of conversations. And again, that can be done through email, and it often is. But we don't get a big turnout for it. And I would, we should probably give some hows to go about parent-teacher conferences, but we're busier normally at the beginning of the evening.
You bet.
And then it kind of tails off, and it's a little less busy towards the end. But I just don't know how much. Let me back this thought up. When my kids were in elementary, I went to parent-teacher conferences, number one, to hear about behaviors, to see if I need to correct anything at home.
Of course.
Yep. But number two, I just wanted to see where my kid was learning. I just wanted to see what the classroom looked like that semester. And when you get to, I think, the middle school and high school, and most of our conferences are in an open area, commons area. So you don't really, the classroom, in other words, isn't open. It's open during open house in the fall. So we don't quite get that part of it either, because to me, there was also always this interest of seeing where the student learns. And we do have, by all means, you can come in at the end of the school day and have your student walk you around the school, and you can see the school. Sometimes I even give tours if I'm available. We just don't do it during the instruction hours during the school day.
Oh, wouldn't that be great if your mom walked in, like you're in world history, and like, hey, Mom, let's do more of that, please. Let's embarrass our high school kids. I love that.
But so anyways, what are the do's and don'ts of parent-teacher conferences?
Oh, please don't be the parent that makes the line go for 10 deep. If the line is 10 deep behind you, move it on, right? Because
Yeah.
you can have if you need to have a really long conversation with your teacher, and I'm just saying this is like when I was teaching math,
Don't wait to parent for
don't
parent
wait
teacher
for parent teacher.
conferences.
Yeah, and our teachers are available before or after school. They'd schedule a one-on-one. Like if you need to close that door and have a real conversation. I mean, they're real conversations and they're valuable. But once that line gets a few deep, just move it on. You can always come back.
So, and you try to coach up the teachers to just let them know that you'll schedule an appointment to finish
bet.
this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just have a meeting and let's get together and let's, by all means, finish the conversation. But at parent-teacher conferences, when it is people waiting and waiting to get to the teachers, it's not appropriate to be spending more than 15 minutes, sitting with a teacher. We've had at times where a parent kind of latches on, and we have to the teacher gets pulled out, and we have to find a separate room because it was just whatever the circumstances were that the conversation kind of needed to end, or we need to get through it that night.
Yeah.
But again, those are conversations that I think you want to set up an appointment and meet. We do a student assistant team meetings, of course, IEPs,
Yep.
and we have a whole lot of meetings where we actually host all of our teachers with that student and their parents through the year as well. And so
That's a
those
good
are
point.
super valuable.
That's a good point. If you do have a student that's struggling in multiple areas or something that needs to be expressed to all the teachers that's maybe a little more private, email one of us and we'll set up a student assistance team meeting. Those are super valuable.
Yeah. And so that's where we'll get all of your students, teachers, and you and I and some people involved. And
Did I hit your top don't? We didn't practice that.
No.
That just was what was my gut.
well, I'll add this. So the top don't is probably, don't let the line get 10 deep. Don't sit there for 15, 20, 25 minutes with one teacher locked up. The other don't is it's a little bit of a respect of time. This is the one night where don't show up. Like, do we start at 5? We go 5 to 8:30.
Yep.
Don't show up before 5 expecting to see teachers because I train the teachers. They're going to be busy all night, and we try to feed them. So I try to provide. Mrs. Noble always helps me with this. I pay for it, and she goes and organizes it, where we can have a meal for our staff because they're coaching. A lot of them are coaching and involved with different activities. They don't have time between that and quick get dressed. So we usually have a meal in our teachers' lounge, and I tell the teachers don't step out there and start conferences before 5. So it's not unusual that at 4:30, 4:40, parents are showing up, and we simply make them wait. And that might sound very rude because we are very servant-oriented, but it's about scheduling. It's about teachers being available during this time slot that we have asked, and we're busy setting up. We're busy trying to feed some people. We got a lot of coaches and sponsors of activities that are trying to change clothes and be ready for conferences. So don't show up at 4:30. Don't think that you're going to beat the rush by showing up before 5 because I do not want our teachers in the commons area available for you until 5 o'clock just so that they can truly have their time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that'd be one of my don'ts is don't expect to show up early before the conference scheduled time.
Yep. And
Because the door will be open.
Yeah.
I mean, you can come in and wait. And some parents are very polite about that. They'll come in
they're
and wait.
awesome. Oh yeah, they're all super polite about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's us that feels rude, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just throw myself as an example. Sometimes because of the nature of my office, I get parents who want to come have some closed door conversations, which is fine. It just might not be super appropriate on parent teacher conference nights because with a student body of 280, if we have to close doors on those days, then I'm not accessible to those. But I've had in the past, I'm walking out the door and I feel so guilty because I'm trying to rush a parent out at 8:30 or 8:40. But we're trying to get home to our kiddos too. It might
Absolutely.
be
Those are long days.
I might be tuck-in time at the end of the day if you left your kids at daycare at 7 like I did and you don't get till 8:30. It's like, oh, I don't want to be rude, but I'm trying to get out of here. It's 8:35 or 8:40.
So it's just super easy to reschedule and a time where you can meet with parents if you need some extra time, or if that evening's not available. And it's not uncommon at all that we have a lot of parents that will email their teachers in the next couple of days saying, "Hey, I'm not available to come to conferences. What do I need to know? How's my student, doing in class?" and teachers are more than happy to provide that feedback to parents as well.
You're welcome to bring your kids. There's a do's and don'ts. If you think your student needs to be there with you, bring them on in, even if they don't want to come. I mean, we do it both ways. It's kind of like scheduling. I do a ton of scheduling with it's just me and the student, and the parent likes to have the oversight at the end with the signature. And I do a ton of scheduling with the parent there, and parent-teacher conferences is no different. You can do either way. That's a do.
Yeah. So you can bring your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like that.
You can bring us treats. That's a do. No, we have treats. Well, we will treat you because we have cookies.
Most times we have cookies.
Maybe
I
we
don't
have
want to say all the
cookies.
time. We've
Right.
that's a don't. Sometimes we've had these, you have families too, and you have young ones that can't stay home alone, and we understand that too. And sometimes there's been some nights where we've had to be the cookie police.
Oh, funny. Yeah, that's true.
It's like, okay, the 6 you took is probably enough because I'm pretty sure mom doesn't know you're taking cookies over here.
That's my favorite is the conversations with siblings that you get to have that they come in with the littles.
And it's a time where I know you'll visit with parents. I just stand back and allow that time to be for the teachers to visit. And I'll have some conversations with some parents coming and going. But we get our conversations when needed, when things arise. And I feel like this is a good time that I just stand back and allow the teachers to have the evening. So we do try to be done at 8:30. I want teachers to be able to kick out and get to their homes because most of them haven't been there all day either. So
you've never seen a group of adults move chairs so fast.
Yeah,
Is at the end at 8:30 parent-teacher conferences. We're like animals. We're like machines.
They're all looking like
we turn into transformers and we can all hold like 10 chairs in one hand.
So there's this moment at the end where it's close to 8:30 and the parents are all gone and I just feel all the eyes
looking
They're
at
all
you
looking
like
for the
give
first
us the
signal,
go.
and once the first nod or boom, our staff will move all the tables and chairs and help rearrange everything back at the end of the night before they go. So really appreciate that.
Heck yeah. And we have tons. So if there's something you were hoping to talk about tonight and you don't get a chance to do that with a teacher or with Mr. Mack or myself, this YouTube channel, it might have the answer on it. You guys, we've been doing this Cardinal Cast every single Tuesday. I think we've maybe missed 2 Tuesdays. I mean, I know equally we've probably missed, but I think one of us has been on air.
Correct.
Besides for maybe 2 or 3 Tuesdays all year long. And so the answer, it's kind of funny. School years become very repetitive, and we might have the answer within this YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, Chadron High School YouTube, and you search, you want to know all the information I could possibly give you on dual credit and how to earn college credits in high school, we got that for you. If you want to know our opinion about taking hard classes, we got that for you. If you want to know changes to the ACT that are coming up this year or how to register, we've got that for you. So there might be some of the things you need to know. This is the first year we've ever done this. And I'm thrilled about having that housed somewhere so that parents who really want to take a deeper dive into some of those conversations can have that. And then maybe they can use us to ask questions specific to their kid if there's something that wasn't addressed on those.
Well, and you and I talked because you were sharing with me earlier today about the scheduling's just going so much easier than it's gone before.
It really is.
To the point where you kept repeating that's just enjoyable. You're having fun doing it. And we wonder if it's some of the conversations that we've been able to have like this with parents, but also like this with students, that it's more information is slowly being evolved and flown out. And what I hope we get out of these podcasts and the video casts that we do is that you get a sense of the philosophy of the school, who we are, what we mean, or stand for, and we're here to help and work with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I hope that message has been coming across. And so when we get to these points like scheduling, this is the first time we've gone through the scheduling since we started this, and it's just going a lot smoother. So I think we're trying to figure out this information age of how to provide content for you. So
absolutely, and I think our kids get especially, and I'm with the older kids now, but even our youngers, I was in freshman transition last week, just doing the pre-scheduling because they're so excited for it. We start making 4 and 10 year plans in there and talking. And for whatever reason, in the past 6 years, I feel like the culture has shifted to like our kids get that Chadron High School doesn't happen to them, but for them. Like there's so many options. And our teachers just keep throwing out more classes. Like if you haven't got a chance to look at Hensey's new art classes, or Mr. Sandstrom's going to do a history through film class. We're thinking about, the teachers are throwing out different changes that might work better with the kids' busy schedules. I don't know. I think they've just got to resound. And the idea that if they don't like our classes here, we can get them hooked up at the college. I think they just get like, I'm going to make this for me. I'm going to make it work for what I want to do. So
that's a good outlook too. This isn't happening to me. It's happening for me.
Right.
And taking advantage of it. So yeah, hopefully it keeps rolling. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be here at parent-teacher conferences Thursday night. We're going to continue with the scheduling. Gosh, I felt like there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. I was too.
I'm saying like, okay, parent-teacher conferences.
College classes.
Scheduling. We talked about college classes.
I don't have any more don'ts. I thought this could be funny. Like, don't at parent time. I need help, though, as parenting. Can I throw that out to the internet world?
Do you need a parent something conference?
I need a parent-teacher conference for my 1.5-year-old because his new thing is to throw all his food off the table. And not only will he throw his food off the table, he'll look at me. Like, he'll have the plate right here. He'll look at me, smile, and throw it. So like this morning,
bet that just makes you giggle.
Oh my gosh! And then, and then I put him in the corner, right? Because what do you do to 1.5-year-old? And he puts his little nose in the corner, and then he smiles at me, and then he goes back in. So
you can't discipline a cute kid.
Oh gosh, he's pretty cute, but I need some discipline. So internet world, anything you got for food throwing, please tag me in it in Facebook, on Instagram. I could use some help. I need a conference about how to make my almost 2-year-old stop throwing his food all over my house.
So when I was in my 30s, I finally told my mom about my trick when I was little. And so it wasn't like booster chair. So I don't know how old I was, probably second grade, somewhere around there. And so I couldn't leave the table until my vegetables were done. And, we lived in the country, and it was there's no getting around your mom when she tells you to do something. And she'd leave me at the table while everyone else is done, and she's doing dishes. And so when her back was turned and she was at the sink, I would stand on my chair and I would scrape my vegetables off on top of the refrigerator.
On top of the refrigerator?
Or behind it.
Oh, gross.
And I didn't tell her for the longest time. I always wondered how many times she would finally stumble on it, like, what?
Why are there
Do we have
behind
mice?
My fridge? No kidding. My only solution, all I have for is I need a second dog. And my husband won't go for that. So I don't know how people parent without a dog because
no kidding.
My floors would be very dirty. More dirty than they
are.
already
Even as
are.
an adult, it bails me out all the time,
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah. My dog / vacuum.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they clean the floor for you.
That's what I need conferences
and
for.
And dirty at the same time.
Heck yeah.
So you need just parent conferences.
I need parent conferences. I need
some teaching.
Yep, I need some teaching moments for my daughter didn't do this, you guys. Like she didn't always eat her food, but she didn't stare at me, look at me, smile, and throw spaghetti sauce all over my floor.
Yeah.
So I know I'm surviving in advance.
The challenges.
So luckily, the good news is Thursday I'll be here, and my husband will be wiping up spaghetti off the floor at home, and I will be eating food from Mrs. Noble and
He's on
conferencing.
food duty.
And in the auditorium at 5:30 with WNCC. So if you do have a student that's interested in dual credit with WNCC,
bring the student too.
Bring the student
there's
in
an
the
example
auditorium.
where bring that student with you to parent-teacher conferences. So
that would be a good opportunity. In the past, I usually only get a couple parents for those. That's why we moved to I moved to making those videos that I could put on our YouTube. So final shout out if there's something that you're really interested in knowing, and I keep coming back to that earning college credits in high school because that video's, I mean, it's not like a good video. I don't look good in it, but it's good information because that's confusing. So
right. Yeah, we'll see if we can repost some of that video, the one I'm thinking about with dual credits and all that in our show notes, so people can find that a little easier. But otherwise, our YouTube page is Chadron HS, I think.
Chadron HS. It's got a cardinal face.
HS. Yeah, and so a bunch of these podcasts are still there, but some of that original content from you in the counselor's office, like, because that's how this started, was you were in the counseling office, you'd answered the phone for the same question 4 times.
Let me tell you what the question was. How do I get my student registered for the ACT?
Yep.
Every time it was that question. And I'm like, we need a video on this. This is it's not hard to do.
You grabbed your phone and did a video right there and stuck it on, was it Facebook at the time? Facebook Live. And since then, we've done these podcasts, the video casts. We've presented about how to do this. So we've been sharing this with other school districts in the state, and we'll continue to. We've got some more conferences that we'll attend that we kind of show them how to do this and the benefits of having conversations with our public.
Absolutely. And they're all housed on iTunes also. So if you want to, if you're like me, I'm a podcast junkie. So I don't watch as much as the video stuff. I probably wouldn't be one that got on the YouTube very often. But to throw some headphones in while I'm making dinner or getting ready in the morning, or, I mean, you can even play it if you've got an Alexa or a speaker at home and learn a little bit while you're cooking or doing something else.
That's why I start every morning by turning the podcast on, the Bluetooth speaker then, so I can hear it while I'm getting ready in the morning as I drive to work. Or if I travel now, if I'm in a vehicle, I'll take headphones if I have to, just so I can listen to podcasts and on a variety of topics. And I don't know that very many of them are education related, but there's some philosophy stuff. There's some just interest, some military stuff, some finance and investment information. So if you haven't discovered, obviously you're not going to know because you're not listening to this podcast.
You'll never know.
But spread the word, because I think about our farmers and ranchers and the time they spend, and I know you listen to the local radio station when you're out there, but the UNL has some phenomenal ag podcasts that they're really pushing out that have really gained some traction in the U.S., and it's coming right out of our home state.
Yeah.
And so when you're sitting, for hours in a tractor feeding anyway this time of year, or you run around in your pickup hauling round bales, and it just makes sense to, if you can tap into this podcast world.
And I didn't tell you this. This is new information. I got an email last week, but I've been asked to lead, and I don't know if that means host it, but our Nebraska School Counselors Association podcast as well.
Oh, cool.
So we'll start there. And so, I mean, it's as easy, you guys, as sharing the link to this. I mean, I think I've got an, I guess it's a second cousin I kind of view as an aunt up in Rapid City. She's got a daughter going through her senior year and figuring stuff out. And when I posted that college, earning dual credits in college, she saw it because I posted on my personal page, and obviously we're family, so we're Facebook friends.
Right.
But you guys might have, in some of those older videos, you guys might have nieces or nephews that need to hear some of this stuff, that their schools, this is brand new. We're trying something new. We don't know a single school who actually does this, so.
I seriously don't know.
I don't know one.
Yeah, a school that has a conversation especially with a school counselor and a school principal, just sitting down together. So that's why my goal is that it's a conversation, that you're getting the philosophy of kind of the what the school is about, what we stand for, and that that we want to hear from you and give us some feedback if there's some topic we can address in this format. If it's good for you, it's going to be good for others.
Heck yes. Yeah. Share the love. Hey, and if you're on iTunes, I'm soliciting a review. Rate and review us because I really don't know why. It just seems cool. Like, put a review on there that we know some people are listening.
Well, that's how it gets shared. That's how other people find it easier.
I think so too.
With the ratings.
I think when you search it, and then if it's popular. Yep. Yeah. We don't really know. We have no idea what we're doing. You guys
share the love, share the link.
Share the love, share the link. If you want a really good laugh, go watch some of our very first ones.
No kidding.
Those are hilarious because we're so nervous. I still get nervous, but the first ones I was really nervous. So.
Agreed.
All right, that's all I have. Variety show week 2. It's probably for the rest of the school year going to be a little bit of a variety show because we hit some hard topics early, and from here on out we got a lot of stuff coming up, so we'll touch a little bit on a lot of stuff. So
sounds good.
All right, I'm Lonnie Watson, high school counselor.
I'm Jerry Mack, high school principal.
Thanks for joining us. Cardinal Cast will be back next week on Tuesday.